But basically, the first thing that hits me is, do we understand that the privacy for our children is really important? Do you understand? Like, would you concede that protecting your daughter's privacy is important?
Fully.
Okay. And when I'm just going through your thing now, which is why I'm looking up. Like, when I see pictures, there's 100 pictures of your daughter in bathing, everything else. Not necessarily there's anything wrong with that, right? As a human and dad, your daughter's very competitive. She seems to be very, very talented. Seems to be like, you should be put pretty hard into like probably Olympic level athletics, which is nothing wrong with that apparently. But the first thing I see is that, do you know that there's probably 1,000 predators online in their relationship with your daughter?
There's probably millions.
Okay. Million followers.
Whoa, are you saying what? Oh, you're saying predators, not followers.
Yeah, predators.
Yeah, millions.
So when I break it down, you have 1 million followers. I break it down to like, I don't have a number, right? But when I did a video on this girl named Everly LeBrant a while, it was like when I first started my channel. Very similar. She's a competitive dancer, very, very talented. For tights, everything else. I did an analytic search that cost me a lot of money. What I found was that these were by adult men. 70% of her engagement content was adult men over the age of 25. And if you do that, like, let's say you do that, there's no way for you to know that unless you pay for the analytics. It's not analytics that your back end, but analytics that big companies will pay you money, or just what kind of people are watching videos. So if you knew that there are people watching your video that were predators, and you knew like specifically your brain of a dude, whatever, that change how you do your content?
So I don't want to answer that with a question, but do you realize that I create and edit my own content myself? And I'm a father, and I edit my content with that in mind. So if you look on my page, you don't see a ton of videos of my daughter in her Leo, because I don't want my daughter in a Leo in a lot of posts, because I understand how that is. If you look at the video that I posted of her in gymnastics, any clip, that's why I don't post videos of her beam routine. I don't want people seeing my daughter with her legs split. But a misconception, if you look at the cheer videos, she's wearing a cheerleading outfit. We're doing partner stunning, which is where a one man or female, whoever, is stunning with another individual. And I just did a podcast episode with a very well-known cheer person, and he's a stunter. And he knows that the reason why it's a crop top is to grab the waist, because if you are grabbing you're going to slip. And number one, you're not going to hit the stunt. It's going to be harder to hit. Number two, it's unsafe. Okay. But for someone who doesn't know me or my background to come at me aggressively with a child exploitation issue is something that I can understand if you don't have the information. But I feel that there's a way to do it. Like you said, you probably, it doesn't matter. If that's how you feel, then say it. People let their emotions get to them. You started off the conversation calling me a loser. But you don't know me. You don't know what I do for a living. You don't know that. Even let's go to the coughing video, okay? Because exploitation, it seems like you're focused on the sexualizing part. But as far as exploitating, and I'm sure it's going to come up for income. What is your thought on that? Real quick before I say what I want to say.
So basically, that's kind of one of the big things. I cover a bunch of topics, but if you need your child to make you money, in the end, no matter how you swing it, because I don't care if a kid's in the background of a video or whatever, but if your daughter is your main content and makes you money, that's exploitation.
That what?
That's exploitation.
How's that exploit? Well, I'm with you, but how's that exploitation?
Well, if your daughter, if it is on your daughter's shoulders to any degree that you make your money, if she has to be in your content for you to make your money, if you get an ad read from a company, let's say for a leotard company or from whatever, some kind of sporting, Lululemon, let's just say, right? And they say, look, we want your daughter in this video. We're going to give you an extra $5,000 to $10,000. If your content is engaging and it needs your daughter, like, I guess the best way to say it is, would your content survive if your daughter wasn't in it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so exploitation. One question. Does your daughter make you money?
Does my daughter make me money? No.
Okay. Does her being in your content make you money?
Does her being in my content make me money? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Will brands pay me to create family content with my daughter? Yes.
Okay.
My question for you, what do I do for y'all? Did he freeze? I don't know if he froze or what. Did he freeze or not? Let me see. Hold up. Let me see if he's in here. Hold up. Y'all, let me see if I can kick this guy out and then see if he can rejoin, because we're about to get down to the nitty gritty. Y'all, I don't know how to get him back in. I truly have no clue how to get him back in because he's frozen. But since y'all are in here, yeah, he needs a little bit better signal. I'm going to see if I can get him back in here. But y'all, what he doesn't understand, or I guess what he's getting at is, if you need your child to make money, that is exploitation of your child, okay? He doesn't understand that I own 3 businesses, okay? And he understands that you can make money on social media. You can make a lot of money on social media. But do you need social media to live? No, not at all. I would be remiss if a brand were to want to provide income for family style content, knowing how income essentially will help your family survive. Okay, there we go. He's going to join in a second. But what he's not understanding, or what he hasn't asked me, is what do I do with the income that I receive from social media if my daughter is in the content? And that's what I want to have a conversation about publicly. Let me see if he's going. Hold on. He's back. So they pay to have your daughter in the videos, but you don't get paid for your daughter. All right, we're back.
Oh, hey, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I must have pressed something. Sorry about that.
While you were gone, one topic I do want to touch on. While you were gone, I told them that I want to get to the nitty gritty of, I would be remiss if someone were to offer money for family style content and my child is willing to do so. She loves recording videos, hanging out, mainly campaigns. American Girl doll, like, why would I not? But the question is, do I need that money? Absolutely not. But what do I do? What do you believe I do with that money?
I don't care what you do with the money. In the end, I don't care.
No, that's not what I asked you. I'm asking you.
Well, I think it depends. If you're wealthy, you probably put money aside for her. Hopefully, put it away for education. Maybe you invest in businesses for her future. Hopefully, you do all amazing things with the money. That's awesome. The problem is you don't have informed consent from your daughter to put her on the internet like you do.
Do you know that my daughter speaks English?
Okay.
Do you know that we can converse? If I say hi, she will say hi back.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. So my answer to that usually is like, yeah, that's great. Kids will tell you that they want to eat candy and they want to stay up till midnight. They want to do this and that. They want to run their lives. They want to have an iPhone. They want to be on social media. We are, as parents, that's why I messaged you. I said, look, as a father, your job is to protect your daughter. And my original question will always still stand. If you knew there were predators watching your daughter and she's in danger, why would you continue to keep her on the internet?
There's women, I know there are people of the same sex watching me on the internet who probably they fantasize about me.
Sure, but you're an adult and you can give a informed consent. You can actually understand the outcome.
Why would I give an individual consent to look at me? You don't. No.
I'm talking about you give yourself consent to put yourself on the internet, same as I do. I got a lot of haters. I understand how that works, right? You can do that because you're an adult, right? But your daughter, how old is she? Does she look like she's about 7, 8, 10?
7.5, almost 8.
Okay, so I have an 8-year-old too. So in the end, when she's 18 and she for whatever reason, she's in Olympics or something or whatever, right? When she's 18 and she says, I didn't want to be on the internet. I didn't want you to show me coughing and having all those haters say comments about me and you. And she gets really upset with you doing that when you're older. How are you going to approach that?
What if she never does? You know, you're saying that as if that's going to happen. But to backtrack, she knows. You got to understand, my daughter reads the comments, and I explain to her what negativity is. I explain to her but because I have a relationship with her, a very close relationship. Yeah. She watches every video before I post it, okay? And if she were for some reason to get sexualized by an individual from watching a video of her in a cheer outfit from something, that's not like, why would I not post that? Because that's not the reason I'm posting it. I can do what I can to be aware of that and not show certain angles, which I do. But if you're saying my daughter gets good and goes to the Olympics, okay? In the Olympics, she doesn't have control over the camera angles. In the Olympics, she is going to not be protected by daddy. She's not going to be protected by her dad not choosing with awareness to not show those angles of her in a Leo. Yep. It's just going to be on national TV for everyone to see. So if your daughter is good at something, why refuse to hold it back from the public all because of one person? 1 month that's like saying don't hang around black people because black people sell drugs. So if you see a black, why would you go around that black person knowing that black people sell drugs and they probably have a gun? How are you going to generalize that? Because what if that black person doesn't sell drugs? Or what if the person who's selling drugs is over there? Like, you can't generalize, and you can't make all of your decisions based off a small percentage of individuals.
I agree.
Be aware of that. If you know that drug dealers are on this corner and you need to go, or maybe if you don't even have to go to some place. But let's say if your favorite store is, your favorite place to eat is Chick-fil-A, but there are drug dealers on the right side of Chick-fil-A. You're aware of that. So why would you go on the right side of Chick-fil-A knowing that you could potentially get attacked by drug dealers or get shot? Go on the left side. You shouldn't not go to Chick-fil-A if that's what something you genuinely like.
Well, I think it's more like this. Instead of going to Chick-fil-A with your daughter where you can protect her, would you send your, let's say there's a park down the street, you know there's a predator there, there could possibly be predators there. You send her there by yourself?
Where is she going?
Would you send her to a park? Let's say in your neighborhood there's sexual deviants who are labeled on that map that you can find, right? You don't know who they are, you know what they look like, but you know they're in your neighborhood. Do you send your daughter to the park by herself?
I would let my daughter go to the park by herself if she was with her. I wouldn't let her go to the park by herself as a 7-year-old. But I grew up going to the park by myself.
We grew up in a different era.
No. My son is outside playing in the patio by himself with the back door open. We're not in a different era because there have been sexual predators since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to tell my daughter she can't go to the park because there's a sexual predator. No, I don't fear that. But then again, I don't see where you're getting at, because we live in a good neighborhood. Even if we didn't live in a good neighborhood, we know our neighbors. We are a very communal neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I would be fine if my daughter said, hey, I want to go to the park. I would say, Jaden, okay, well, I'm going to go with you. Why would I let my 7-year-old daughter go to the park by herself? But that's not because of sexual predators.
You're getting it now. All right, here it is. No. You just said, why would I let my daughter go to the park by herself? Perfect, thank you. But why would you post your daughter on the internet for millions of people to watch her in a leotard? You said another thing too. You said, hey, look, why wouldn't I show this with the world? Does your daughter's success rely on your fans? Does it matter that people watch her while she's doing this? Or do you think that she'd be just as good, just as talented and everything if you didn't turn the camera on when you were doing these things?
You're asking a question that you need back information on. Okay. You have to backlog, okay? So we can get back to this talk, but let me give you, do you mind if I just give you just a quick overview of this, okay? So how did we blow up online? Mm-hmm. How?
I mean, it probably, I don't know.
If you don't know, but that's the thing, okay? So like, I don't never assume, you can just ask, but if you don't know, just say, I don't know, so.
Well, if I were to answer that based on your content, right? If I'm looking at just your social media, just your Instagram alone, if I'm just looking at just that, you blew up because your daughter's looks like an amazing athlete.
Why is she an amazing athlete?
Probably because you coached her.
Why did I coach her?
Because you're her dad and you're a good coach.
Why am I a good coach?
I have no idea.
Because I coached for 8 years prior to having my daughter.
Right.
I was a cheerleading coach. I taught kids how to stunt to prepare them for college. COVID happened. I had 5,000 followers. COVID happened.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've always been financially stable because I own businesses. I don't need social media money to live. I could shut down my Instagram. I could shut down I have 7.4 million people on TikTok. I could close all that down today and be just fine, if not better, because I have a clear view, a peace of mind. I don't have people who don't know me putting their opinions out there, okay? But how did we blow up? We had a big house with really tall ceilings. And so during COVID, knowing how I was financially stable, we had a savings plan to get us through the lockdown. Mm-hmm. Okay, my business wasn't running, so what did I do? The kids were in school. I would stomp with her in the living room and post videos. Instead of coaching at the gym, I would coach my daughter, my baby girl at home. People started watching those videos during very, very, very dark times, okay? Mm-hmm. And once I realized we started growing a following, they were like, oh, I love this content. I love it, I love it, I love it. Boom, we would make more and more videos. Jaden had a blast with it. She loved it. She had a good time. She would learn more and more and more. And then I realized people were going through dark times. Not everyone was fine during COVID. So they needed something to keep them going. They didn't need it. They were in search of, and I knew I could provide value in a positive way. I didn't ask for people to follow me. I just knew that they were following me to see some deals with my daughter, and we enjoyed it. Okay, but I'm not done. But a little bit more information, then I think you'll have a clear vision, okay? When is enough enough? There was a point in time when, okay, some videos got let's say, tense because I would show more and more about the reality of the sport, the reality of stunting. I wouldn't just show the highlights. I would show me actually training my daughter, which would be tears, which would be long, hard, tough talks, which people would see as exploitation because she didn't agree with it. But we live in a world that only shows the highlights, a world of just a fake reality. I'm a very transparent person, okay? So the exploit, okay, then let's say we reach 1 million followers. Never once did we ask for 1 million followers. Never once did we ask for brands to offer us money to create videos, okay? Never once did I ask creeps to sexualize my daughter just because she's in a cheer outfit. You know what I mean? Because that's not what is on my mind. I'm aware of that, but you got to understand the context of why we have our videos. So what have our videos turned into? This is Jaden, my talented daughter. During COVID, everyone's following me. They love our relationship. What is our content nowadays? Here's where we are, still going hard. She's still working hard. Our relationship is still great, but here's the reality of success. I posted a video of her coughing. People would say, why would you let her compete whenever she's coughing? She wasn't backing down. I didn't force her. First of all, she doesn't even cheer. She does gymnastics. Half the world doesn't even know that. She doesn't want to cheer. I don't want her to cheer. We stunt maybe once a month just to have some content online. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to not show the reality of our lives. That is not exploiting my daughter in my sense. And yes, you can frame it in a certain way, but if my platform is to show my relationship with my daughter, my family, how things grow, why would I let one monkey stop the show?
No, I agree. I hear what you're saying. Like, I agree to degree. Like, why would you let one hater stop your show? I'm not asking for you to let haters stop your show. I'm not asking for you to be like, don't worry, who cares what the haters say on your coughing video? I don't care that you're like, I'm hard on my daughter, this and that. You're a coach. Kids, I think, do need structure. They need all these things, and I'm not sending your failure that way. I think that when it comes to being a dad who guides your child, you're probably doing a really great job. You're doing all the good things. The one thing you're not doing is protecting your daughter against online at all. Like, not even just predators. You're talking about privacy. You're talking about her future. You're talking about informed consent. You just admitted to me that that's exactly why your channel blew up, which is what I said. You said initially at the beginning of the outset of our conversation, you said you don't show her in leotards and doing splits. I just I see multiple shots of your daughter. Your first pinned post is your daughter in a bikini. Dude, there's four things down. She's doing splits in the air. I'm not saying that's inherently a bad thing, but where it changes is that the people who are watching you, and we know this to be true, it's so provable, so easy to prove, that the people who are watching your kid are watching it for probably nefarious reasons. And the fact that you don't seem to care, or you're like, well, I'm not gonna let one person stop me, but again, it goes back to the question. If you knew that there were gross pedo, chomo douchebags watching your daughter and getting off, how would you continue doing that?
I guess my answer that I give to you still won't be accepted, because if you look at the first picture, I have an 8-pack. My daughter has an 8-pack. Two daddy-daughter duo muscular. I'm proud of that. Mm-hmm. If I'm not going to not post that picture, I think that's a fire picture that I will always love. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to not post that one picture just because someone is going to be like, oh my gosh, that's delicious, or oh my gosh, that's whatever. Because she could be wearing, so she could have a hijab and someone can see her eyes and say, oh my gosh, she has beautiful eyes. Or you can have any type of fetish you want. But you're saying that I should have no pictures of my children in anything. If you look at
that's not what I'm saying at all. So you can't put words in my mouth.
No. But I didn't finish my statement. You're saying I should have no pictures of my daughter or videos of my daughter at all if she is there's an attire, okay? I can post videos of our family having fun jumping into a pool, but since I have $1 million or 1 million followers, I can't post a picture of her in a certain setting due to the fact that there are creepos out there.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you're right. I mean, the bigger your platform,
I disagree. Well,
I mean, of course we can disagree on this thing. It's not that you just posted it though, Roland. It's that it's your first pinned post. It's the most proud. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be proud of something like that, but what's the difference between being proud of a photo that you print and post in your home and posting it to millions of people, including probably hundreds of thousands of men watching it? Now, the only reason it's scary is because there are predators. We live in an evil world. There's no way around it. It's just no way around it. And the same question that comes up every single time about informed consent. When your daughter, maybe someday, maybe she doesn't, maybe she does. But what if she does come to you someday and say, my online footprint is bigger than most people's on earth because you shared me? And what if she wants to tell her story when she's older? What if she didn't want people to see her in leotards? And you even said a comment that really, really, really got me going here. You said that you show her hate comments, and if there's a comment in there about her and her body, that she reads that shit?
I don't see comments of people saying that. So like if you go through all my comments, there's nothing that. Okay.
But even if it's not sexually related, you show her hate comments?
Yes. Because I want her to know. Yes. Because I want her to know that there are individuals like you, not in a bad way. I don't know anything about you whatsoever. But there are people like you who are going to judge you, who don't even know you, who don't even know the story. And you have to be okay with that because they don't determine who you are, and you cannot let them slow you down. This is always going to be there. They're always going to be there.
Can you say that, though, without showing her the comments?
Why? Who are you to dictate how I do that?
I'm not dictating. I'm asking a question. I said, could you achieve the same result without showing her the comments?
I don't know. Because if I don't show her the comments, it's like me telling you, hey, I have an apple out there. There's an apple out there in this world. Okay, there's an apple, but what does an apple look like? This is an apple. Mm-hmm. Whenever you have to talk about the bees and the birds, or you want to beat around the bush, how are you going to do that? And who am I to dictate how you do that?
None of it has anything to do with child exploitation. None of it does.
So
now, but if you have the bees and birds conversation with your daughter on camera for people to watch, which families like Not Enough Nelsons and other people do that stuff, like, are you gonna come on video when your daughter has her first period and tell the world your daughter had her first period?
No.
Okay. Are you gonna come on and tell, hey, my daughter started shaving her legs?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe because that one I would probably be like, y'all, Jaden's at the stage where she's shaving her legs, and here's how I feel as a father. But am I going to show a video of her shaving her legs? But going back to because we're getting off track, why would I not show my daughter the comments?
Well, sorry, say it again.
Why would I not show my daughter the comments?
Well,
because largely the comments are what? Positive.
Largely, not that video, but the reason why is because she's 7, and to protect her from comments like that, because no matter what you think, that's just going to live in her head rent free. These kids are we both have young children, right? We understand that they are in developmental stages of their life. When you say one thing to your daughter, or if she experiences one thing and it's a core memory to some degree, that's going to sit with her forever. Like, I don't know if you understand this, and you probably do. I hope you do, because you're a sports.
You know I do. Like, you know I understand.
That is going to, if there was a comment there and you're like, oh, just ignore it, but it said something about her body or said something about whatever, I don't care who you are, no matter how tough you are as a human or what your dad or your mom built into you, that is going to live in your head. A 7-year-old doesn't need to hear that there are adults commenting about her, or even you, who she loves, who thinks hung the moon, and says, Dad, why are these people hating on you? And you're like, oh, they're just haters. But do you think that there's some validity to some of the comments? Like, hey, are you really going to send her to compete while she is coughing her lungs out? Like, are you really going to do, like, there are some comments that aren't.
Let's start right there. Yes.
Yes, you will.
Yes, and I did, and she won state.
Say again. Oh, sorry, I'm confused. Like, I asked like a bunch of questions.
She won state. She was sick that week. We got her on antibiotics early. We went to the doctor twice. She was not contagious. I posted the video of me coughing. I strategically, you got to understand. So my favorite game is chess. Always 2 steps ahead. Always multiple steps ahead. I knew what was going to be the reaction from the world because I didn't provide them with all the information. I looked like this angry dad out there forcing his daughter, but I didn't show the clip. We were getting, but if you look at that video, she said, Daddy, can you tickle me so I can cough harder? So she can cough all of it out because she had a competition. Then we did what we could, got her as well as possible. She went out there and won state.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations. Again,
but why would I, no, look, you've been asking me questions. Why would I not send my daughter, who trains 15 hours a day, 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, to the biggest competition of her life? You're coughing, no, we can't go. Why would I stop? As a father, knowing how much that means, knowing how she's not contagious, knowing how she's actually fine, she's just coughing stuff out. Why would I take away that opportunity from her just because she's coughing and just because everyone's going to comment and say, oh, what if she got other people say, oh, what if she's, knowing that I know she's not contagious, knowing that I know she wants to compete at state. If I would have just listened to the world, or let's say if I didn't even post it, but if I were people in the comments, knowing that she won state, all around champion, highest score at competition, what if I were to think, and just maybe those people are right, I shouldn't have let her compete because she would have not gotten other people sick, and then I pulled that opportunity away from my daughter. Do you see how it doesn't matter what you comment in my page because I'm so well within? Like, my life outside of social media is so well cohesive and put together. My relationship with my daughter is more than meets the eye because I only show people what I want people to see, and I strategically trim my videos in a way to where if you want to come at me and get triggered, I have a response for you. I have more information that you don't know.
So all I'm hearing is that you're strategically wanting to bring hate so your daughter can read the hate. It doesn't even make sense to me that you would ever want to put your daughter in a position where she's getting hate. If she doesn't deserve it, you know she doesn't deserve it.
She's not getting hate. I'm getting hate.
Okay, well, exactly. But she's reading. So you're reading the hate comments about you. Your daughter loves you, and she's going to start. You don't think that's going to be detrimental to her?
No.
Okay, well, we can disagree. But okay, side point. I'm glad that you went. And that's not my beef. Isn't with you taking your daughter to a competition. It's not her. It's not you pushing her really hard as a 7-year-old with an 8-pack, which is actually crazy. It's not that. That's not my beef with you. My beef is with the exploitation. I'm telling you, and you admitted it all here, which is like, I understand what you're saying, but you're like, yeah, I do use my daughter for ads. I do make money off my daughter. You admitted all these things in this chat.
Time out. I'm a very objective person, and I like to just go, if you can have an objective conversation, like, I don't care if you had my guts, like anyone, but I never said I use her for ads. No, I do ads with my daughter. She's willing to. Am I using my daughter for, what is defined using my daughter for ads? Is she in ads? Yes, she's in ads. Do we make income from those ads?
That's exactly
yes.
what the conviction is. That's exactly what exploitation is. You just don't like the word exploitation. Would you like me to use a different word?
Okay, define exploitation, because maybe we're not.
You are using your child's image, likeness, social media platform, everything, her story, everything on your platform. It brings you money, right? And you do that without her informed consent, which you will never get.
Without her informed consent.
You will never get your daughter's informed consent because she's not old enough to understand the outcome of the internet. Do you know that AI technology right now is so powerful? Someone could take any picture and voice or video of your daughter and turn it into porn. Did you know that? And take them 2 seconds. And she's famous. Your daughter is famous, a 7-year-old famous girl. There are predators watching your daughter right now, likely downloading the content of her, turning it into videos and selling it on the dark web because of the large platform that you have. Now, you can't stop that. And it's not your responsibility, but you are serving it up on a silver platter to those predators.
If I were serving it up on a silver platter, then why would I create, or then why would I'm aware of people out there, the dark web stuff, like I don't get down to the deepest, like that's like saying back to the whole Chick-fil-A thing. Do you know that there are black people out there with guns, with drugs, with bombs? Do you know that they were out there with boom, and they're just waiting? You know that they're out there? That right there is something that AI technology, you gotta like, that isn't, you're talking
reality.
The
massive reality right now.
And if you're going to, I don't base any decision off. Everything I do is very well calculated. And if there's someone who can do AI technology and take a clip of anyone and do whatever and turn it into whatever and whatever, that's not going to stop me from posting my content.
I know, but you wouldn't want that to happen to your daughter, right?
But you're saying that it is happening. So
no, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it could, but you wouldn't want it to, right?
That's the whole fallacy. Why would you get in a car knowing that you could get into a car wreck?
You keep bringing it back to these weird, what did these things, like my issue is that if there's drug dealers at Chick-fil-A, you don't send your daughter alone. There are predators online that have parasocial relationships with your daughter you have no idea about. You don't even know them. That's almost like sending your daughter to a place where you don't know there's danger and there is danger. Or you do know there's danger and you're like, well, there's nothing you can do. You still got to go play at the playground. You're not seeing the big picture, and that's I get it,
no,
man.
You gotta.
It's hard to hear this. This is hard to hear, and I'm glad you're having this conversation.
But I'm having this conversation because I understand that, and I'm completely fine having a conversation with someone. And I told you more than anything, put your message out there. We can use my followers who really know me, who have followed for years. They understand that I'm aware of that. They know the precautions that I take. You know what I mean? They understand that my content is tailored. They understand that my daughter's protection goes above all. But they understand that I'm a very transparent person, and they understand that my content isn't posted online solely with the fact that if someone want to take this and make AI porn out of it, that will never be mine.
I don't think you're posting stuff because you think that's what's happening. I absolutely don't believe that at all. No, I don't think so at all. I think but there are some families out there who understand. I'm not saying this is you, but like take for example a channel that does my daughter went to the dentist, right? And they're wondering why they got 500,000 more views, and they're not seeing that their thumbnails their kid with their mouth open on the front of the video, right? Like what I'm saying to you is that I don't think that you want that. I don't think that that's any of your intentions at all. It's not your intention to hurt your daughter. It's not your intention to put her in danger. But the reality is that it's exactly what is happening. What if you're at an event somewhere and she's famous and someone approaches her, or like there's a predator following her everywhere and going to these events that you're telling people, hey, we're going to this event on Saturday. At minimum, please never do a meet and greet with your daughter. Please, at minimum, ever do something like that where people know where you're going to be.
Listen, my content, I want to touch on 2 things, just so you understand my level of awareness. Mm-hmm. I did not post that we were in Lubbock, Texas at state because I didn't want people to know. All the content that I post is after the fact. We're already gone. I'm a financial planner. I have clients calling me saying, hey, I saw that you're out there at state. Tell Jaden good luck. And I'm like, hey, just to let you know, that was last week. We're past that. She wants to say she did great, whatever. We went to the Bahamas afterwards, and then we're already back in Texas. They're like, oh, but then again, measures that I take, just because I said that I take measures. I don't let my daughter walk in public with her Leo. I make sure that she carries pants with her. Whenever I pick her up from gymnastics, I force her, don't only say the word force because you know how people get, I tell her, make sure that you have pants. So whenever we walk out of gymnastics, and if we need to go to Kroger or the store, you are covered. Because I tell my daughter knows that there's people like that. But you're telling me that it's too young to have conversations, real conversations with my daughter. But let me just finish one last tip.
Yeah.
I feel that it is important, the second they can comprehend it, that they know how this world operates. And yes, there's a lot of bad in this world, but there's a lot of good, but you gotta be aware. I don't send my daughter to the park by herself, but I know that if she were to go to the park for whatever reason by herself, she would make it back just fine because she's aware. She's a smart cookie, okay?
Predators are smart. And they're smarter than your daughter. And you just said something crazy, and you didn't see the irony of it. It's blowing my mind. Is that like, okay, well, you're going to force you to wear pants when we're done this competition because I don't want people at this event looking at you or whatever. And yet you post that on the internet for strangers. You'll never be able to see who's looking. That's the irony is massive. And that you're like, okay, get that in public, but you post her in
her gymnastics attire.
That lives forever. The internet is forever. That's forever.
So going back to whenever she is in the Olympics, like you were saying, if she makes it to the Olympics and she has zero control, zero consent, zero whatever, and they're going to show the angles that I prevent. I'm not. If you want, people want to see my daughter's routines. I don't post her routines. You have not seen my daughter's being routine online. There is one in the past if you scroll down, but I don't post those because I don't want that, okay? But I can't just make that my main focus. My main focus is not predators. My main focus are the people who understand and the people who genuinely care about us.
Look, you keep coming back to this that you think, do you think I'm thinking you're doing this for predators? I know you're not. I know you're absolutely not doing it.
Do you think that I'm aware that there are predators?
Yeah, of course, because you admitted there are. And I don't think that you do this for them, but I think that you just don't seem to care that there are.
How?
Because you said it with your words. You said, I'm not going to let that stop me from posting.
Posting what?
From posting anything. Like, I'm telling you, man, I'm scrolling. There's leotards, there's splits, there's everything with all your children, your wife, and everything else. And it's great. And your profile's great. Don't get me wrong. The issue is that there's just so much danger online.
How about whoa. Yeah. Instead of, so knowing my standpoint, knowing your standpoint, knowing how we both are aware, you and I are both fathers, we're both aware, we both take measures. Yours are more conservative than mine, okay? Knowing that all aside, say what's on your mind, not focused on me, but focused on the outside public. Because the reason I brought you on here was to let you give your message so that people who aren't aware or aren't taking measures, or maybe you need a reminder. And my reminder was a beam routine that I posted maybe a year ago, which is why I don't post beam routines because I don't like the angle of it, you know? So there are reminders, but if you were to remind or just recommend someone as a father, as someone who's aware, very hyper aware, which is completely fine, what message would you tell them to really truly focus on? And what information would you give them?
Like, I would just say protect your children. I mean, like,
but that's relative. That's relative.
No, it's not. It's not relative. There are many dangers facing children these days, including social media, including online bullying, including predators, including AI, including parasocial relationships, including bullying at school because of what you show, jealousy, all those kinds of things. These kids deal with these things. 7 years old, she's already in a competitive sport that's probably cutthroat, right? She's already got tons of pressure from you to be amazing and perfect.
No, wait, how do you say that? How's that sound?
How do I say it? I can look at your content. Your daughter is amazing. She doesn't get that right.
But is tons of pressure from me for her to be amazing?
Yeah. Your daughter wants nothing but to make you happy and smile and say, good job, daughter, I love you. And she does that by pushing herself to really hard degrees with an 8-pack at a 7-year-old. And again, that's not my beef with you.
Why does she have an 8-pack?
Or whatever you said when you said it.
No. I'm just asking, but why does she have an 8-pack?
Because she works hard
at a sport of her choosing.
Right. Do you think
I don't push my daughter?
What would you do? What would you say if your daughter told you, I don't want to do this anymore?
I don't want my daughter to do gymnastics. I want her to quit gymnastics so I can see her more and we can actually go travel because my job is, if I have Wi-Fi, I can run my business. Our lives revolve around her gymnastics schedule, but she loves gymnastics. She's done it for years. She's amazing. #1 in the state for her age, her level. her friends, that's her community. We switched gyms. We built a house closer to a gym so we can be closer to her gymnastics, but her coach moved to another gym, so we switched gyms so she'd be with her coach. We spend
in the comments. It's this. This is how you know if this is how you know if what you're doing is good or bad or right or wrong or good or it's gonna last. If you took your daughter off your channel, what would happen?
Then my channel would be focused on something other than my relationship with my daughter.
Do you think it would grow?
I can grow my channel without but why would I, is my goal to grow?
I hope so, if you're social media.
Why would I grow? You listen, why would I want to grow? Find something that is, you'll find whatever you're looking for, essentially, okay? But I wanted you to know that not only did I want the world to know that there's stuff happening. I don't focus my life around that, you know what I mean? We do differ in our focuses, but I wanted to have a conversation, put it out there, all out on the table to the public. I have a large platform. I'm not stunning with my daughter. She's not in this video right now.
Yeah.
But do you understand how the fact that my daughter is not in this video, but I'm still providing value to this world right now by having an open conversation and using my platform for something other than stunting with my daughter? But Absolutely. Why do people typically follow me? Because they love the cool stuff with my daughter and they love the relationship. But if you go back and scroll through my content, you'll realize that there's less and less of stunting and more of just genuine relationships, you know, showing you what our lives are really like. I will never just stop posting. And my daughter, I told her, if you ever want to stop, I want her to stop gymnastics because I miss her. I never see her, but she loves it. People think I force her. I don't coach my daughter. Let me tell you one really cool thing that I do because my client still hasn't hopped in this meeting. But with my daughter, I don't coach her at all. I leave that to her coach. I coach her mindset. Before every single gymnastics meet, I don't make her do 1,000 push-ups and blah, 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 blah. No, people think I'm tired. People think I do that. No, for every gymnastics meet, we play, you'll see a video of it. We play a race car game, a little kitty race car game. And there's 4 races because there's 4 events in gymnastics, okay? So knowing the algorithm, we're gonna do it on easy mode. She's gonna win the first one. She's gonna be on cloud 9. And the way it's set up, she's gonna lose the second or third one. And then it's gonna get to her, oh no, I can't win. I was like, no, if you strategize, you already won the first one. Yeah, you lost this one, but focus on this one. And if you can do that, you're gonna probably win. But then it gets down to the last race, the last event in gymnastics. This is all it comes down to. Minimize the small mistakes. And if you look at even the old videos, what do I say? Who are you? Jaden, what can you do? Anything. That's why people follow me, because of the way I openly raise my daughter. And yes, what comes along with that? Exposing it out to the entire world for the world to see. And there are predators out there who are probably doing whatever. That's not my main focus, because that's not why I post. I'm aware of that. I'm cautious of that. I take measures, albeit the measures are not what some people in the world feel they should be, but that's why subjectivity exists. You know what I mean? And I respect everything you're saying. I understand. I agree with everything you're saying, besides the fact that there's one thing that you need to do right now, which is stop posting your daughter on the internet or your kids. I don't agree with that. I feel that people, mainly, like you said, social media families, if you were relying on social media income to live your life, if you were relying on social media income, or your kids specifically, if they're paying your bills, and if they're paying your bills and they're getting nothing in return, that is exploitation. That is financial exploitation of your kids online. But one thing we didn't talk about, we make money with social media. We did a brand deal with American Girl dolls. Guess who has that money? My dog. So first of all, if you know taxes and finances, pay each kid $12,000 and it's going to be a tax write-off. But also open up accounts for them so that later on in life, they have something to where if they want to have a nest egg, if they want to start a business, the finances are there. But I will never use social media and rely on that for that to be the deal, because that was going to happen regardless. I didn't ask for 1 million people to follow me, but I know that they're following me to see my relationship with my daughter, my family. I give a lot of advice on my stories. I keep it real in there. And for that reason, I have a platform where I can provide value. So I'm going to do that. Part of that is stunning with my daughter If you're a creepo doing AI pornography with my daughter, then you know you're an ill human being. But, and I know that's out there, but that's not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. But knowing that, here's what we're getting down to. Knowing that I will forever continue to find more and more things that I should not post. Although I'm going to post, I'm slowly finding, having all that in mind, more and more things that, hey, you probably shouldn't post that. There's a video strategically on like one of those, I think one at her competition before I showed all the events, where the camera was going past and then it was about to show her butt in her Leo, but I didn't want that. So I cut the video off right there. Those types of measures. And as time goes along, as our relationship continues, my daughter, I'll show her everything. I'll show her all the comments. I'll show her everything. Full transparency. My daughter's my best friend. She knows me more as a friend than her dad. We have a tight relationship. I tell her, like we joke in the car, I'll let her say bad words like poopy, stinky butt, because she feels comfortable around daddy. One day she's going to be out there in the world where she has to go accept whatever the world is thrown at her, but she's going to be prepared for it, okay? Due to the large platform, she's going to have it. Angel Reese was on the airplane, LSU basketball player. Angel Reese was on our airplane going to the Bahamas. She was trying to be incognito. Everyone on the plane knew that was Angel Reese. Like, imagine how Angel Reese feels. Just because you're good at basketball, millions of people know who you are, and I knew you were too. Out of respect, I did talk to her about it, keep it long-winded, but Angel Reese is very good at basketball. So she stopped playing basketball because she knows that millions of people are watching her be great. And probably some of them are sickos. No, do that while knowing those types of people are out there, and be cautious and know that daddy will do everything in his power. But then again, everything is subjective, okay?
Well, the difference though between Angel Reese and what you're saying is Angel Reese is an adult and can make those decisions for herself. Your child, you make her decisions for her. And Angel Reese can make a choice. No one else is making choices for her. You're making the choice for your daughter.
But one day she's going to have to make choices for herself, and will she be prepared?
But wouldn't it be awesome if she was able to make the choice of her online personality? Wouldn't it be awesome to say if she wanted to tell her story? Again, I'm just telling you that the internet's forever, and you know this. Wouldn't it be great that if she could, because when our kids are old enough, like when they get our age, they're going to be paying thousands, if not millions of dollars to have their digital footprints erased for something you might have said, something you might have done, or something you don't want on the internet. Okay, that's just the reality of it. And the Angel Reese can say, I don't want this because I don't like the pressure. Your daughter can't. You make the choice for her.
Would Angel Reese say that?
No, of course not. She makes her money doing this. But why would
also very
Angel Reese isn't a child? Angel Reese isn't a child.
My daughter is going to be. So I understand you're saying, take her. Don't let the world know who your daughter is until she's able to make her own decisions. I understand that. But if she's going to be along the way, I'm preparing her. I'm showing her the reality of what comes along with it. My daughter reviews all the videos. If she doesn't like it, I'm not going to post it. I don't stunt with my daughter unless she wants to stunt. My daughter will ask me to stunt sometimes in public, but I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand that I don't force my daughter to do anything whatsoever. And I do protect my daughter, but not at the level. Because if you're saying, if you found that contradiction, I said I do everything in my power to protect my daughter. But if you include everything, that would be to put a trash bag over her and then no one knows who she is.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're saying if I did everything in my power to protect my daughter, she wouldn't even leave the house. She'd wear a burqa. I get what you're saying. But when it comes to this one specific topic, this is a real danger. So it's different than, let's say, I don't want just a stranger looking at a show or at one of these events. This is a actual legitimate danger that your parliament, not parliament, it's Canadian, sorry, that your government actually debates on frequently about how dangerous this is for kids. There's a story, really quick story. I know you got to get to your meeting. There's a story.
I'm waiting for it. You're good.
Her name is Ava Madre. I want you to take a look at this story. She's this 14-year-old TikTok star. She had millions of subscribers, and one of the guys developed a parasocial relationship with her, and she sent him photos. Her dad and mom allowed her to sell him photos, not nudes, just extra content, right? He came to her house after she ghosted him, shot the front door off with a shotgun. His gun jammed when he went in, and then he left and came back, and her dad, as an ex-cop, shot him and killed him right in front of her. This is the reality of stars. Unfortunately, And fortunately, stars either make a ton of money and everything, but I think if you ask any influencer who has tons of stars, especially children influencers and actors, most of them would say that they did not like the fame. It's not something that they enjoyed. As a kid, you're a little bit shielded from it. You're a little bit protected. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty and the reality of it, one day if she gets approached by a creeper, a predator, or something like that, or something is used against her, it's all going to come to roost, and it's going to be on you every single time. Someone keeps calling me a hater. Like I don't hate this guy. Roland is a respectful listener. He actually does want to protect his daughter. I'm just trying to give you the reality of it, and he's listening. I think that's great.
I think that if you're not listening, then is kind of counterintuitive. And I do agree with things you're saying, but you're giving only the extreme. And you have to consider all facets, all angles, and consider all things that you really seek more knowledge. Okay. Yeah. First, seek to understand, then to be understood. That's why I listen to you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Like everything you're saying is factual. There are creepers out there online. Okay. Yep. But I will never make that one sole thing the deciding factor of if my child is in a video or not.
I appreciate your honesty about it. I mean, at least you're being honest about it, and there's no like you're not giving me like fluffy answers about that one thing. You're like, look, that's just not going to define it, and that's what every family vlogger I've ever covered, they all say the exact same thing you say, and I understand that. So, but it is a choice you have to make. I'm glad that you listened. And from this point forward, like, I am happy to answer your questions, but you guys, like, thank you for listening. We are obviously miles apart on this, but thank you so much for using your platform to have this conversation. I really do appreciate it.
I absolutely think that this was necessary for the world to hear, not only the dark side of things, but a little more background on why we still do what we do today. Mm-hmm. A little bit more about, does he make all this money from his daughter? Does he have a different source of income? Is he aware? You know, I think this is just very informative to everyone. And I think people are, more than anything, I think people are going to respect, mainly your followers, the fact that you are consistent with your viewpoint. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think you should stand your ground on that. But I just want to let you know that I think that what you're doing is great. Bringing awareness to the fact that there are absolute creepers and people doing weird stuff. I think you should not stop doing that because somebody has to do it. Yep. You know what I mean? I feel that awareness is everything, but I also feel that you should, you know, like I said, I haven't looked at your content, but get to know the person in the background first before making that judgment. Sure.
No, you're right. Absolutely. I mean, especially, again, apologize for calling you a loser, but you're right. I think starting off these conversations respectfully is really important, and that's something that you have definitely opened my eyes to, and I think it's way more important to do it that way because that will reach more people that way. You're right.
Yes. And more than anything, two people can disagree and still have a cordial conversation. Okay. Yep. So exactly. Really, with the given information, everyone commenting and listening, they can make their own decision or their own opinions based off that. But I'm about to run and work. Keep doing what you're doing. Just please because realistically, if I truly wanted to, I could find out where you live. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I can book a flight to Canada and I can come find you as well.
Really cold here, dude.
And I have a vindictive, I go to Alaska every year to shoot the aurora. That's the cameras. But just so you know, for your protection, if I truly wanted to, I could knock on your door and find you and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. And I know the danger of being online in general, right? And that's why I talk about this, because you're right. Anybody could find your address right now. Anybody could. And go see your daughter if maybe she's out scooting around in the driveway. Anybody can come, you know, whatever. That's what I'm saying. You're right. It is dangerous. What we do is not like everybody else. And we got to do what we can to keep everybody safe. I think you're right.
And you know what? Just to prove that, I don't have to prove it, but just to let you know how aware I am, I'm going to find out where you live. And then I'm going to send a package. And I'm not going to ask you, but I'm going to find out where you live. It's not going to be anthrax. I just want to show you how aware I am and how
Please don't make it anthrax. I love U.S. treats, so hook me up.
Just know that it's gonna be a good challenge, but it's not gonna be ill intentions. I just want to show you that I'm aware. Okay, so I'm about to go run. I have 7 minutes before I start this. Keep doing what you're doing, but just be careful, because people, if you not everyone's going to be as calm as I am. And if you really come at the wrong person, just like you said, people can do all this stuff and find out all this information. Protect yourself as well. You're a grown man. You can put yourself out there however you want, but just be careful, because I have a very vindictive nature. And back in the day, if you would have caught me whenever social media was blowing up, I probably would have tried to find out where you live. Okay. And I probably would have done it for a different reason. And I would have had the means to make it up there. Even though it's cold, I could buy a jacket. I could be good. It's just, you got to be aware of that as well. Because if you piss off the wrong person, just like you said about that little girl, shotgun, boom, 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 click, you're out too. Okay. So stay aware. I would just change the approach and try to bring more positive. No, you don't have to do anything. I would recommend try to bring more positivity, because I think a more positive approach would allow for more information to be absorbed and more meaningful conversations to be had. Okay. So have an amazing day. I'm about to run to this meeting. I'm sure we'll do a recap, and I'm going to actually follow you to see how your content goes. And I hope you follow me and to see how I keep finding more and more tweaks. Although I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing, because I'm doing it for a different reason. Just keep looking for the tweaks that I continue to make, and maybe we can do a 1 year recap on how we feel about each other.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good. See you, dude.
4 packets.
Okay, thanks.
In 10 minutes. And I just accepted. I think he's going to hop in.
Oh, here we go.
One thing, what I was saying, what was the last thing you said? Oh, why would I want to grow? And 2 things. Why would I want to grow? We already have 8 million social media followers. One thing that I should have asked you to do earlier, or we'll talk about this later, but if you go to her Instagram, we don't post on her Instagram anymore for a certain reason. If you look at the last date we posted on her Instagram or whatever, there's a reason for that, and that's due to awareness, okay? But if you go to her page, it is still up. But
she has her own page?
Yes. 300,000 followers.
That's not a flex. Didn't tell me it's not a flex. She's 7 years old with 300,000 followers on her own Instagram page. It's not something that's not safe.
No. You asked me a question, and I'm just answering. Okay. That's not a flex. But
my question is, like, do you not want to grow? Is that what you're telling me? You don't want to grow?
Growing on social media would not affect my life in a public. I don't.
But you want to grow. You don't want to not. You don't want to lose subscribers.
I'm agnostic. I don't care if I lose followers.
But you'd be happy if you grew.
It wouldn't affect me in any way.
Okay.
I have 7.4 million followers on TikTok. I don't even post on that really. I have 1 million followers. But then again, going back to the root, like I said, you got to always start from the origin. Did I ask people to follow me? Did I ask for 1 million followers? Did I say, hey, everybody, I want 1 million followers? Did I ever ask for that? No, it is a byproduct of the past 3.5 years of our lives.
It's the byproduct of you. It's the byproduct of people wanting to see your daughter on the internet.
Dude, so you're telling me I have 1 million people following me, and they're all dark web people, whatever you're talking about. They want to
all. No, not at all. No. You can't put words in my mouth.
Why did people start?
You got big because you used your daughter to get there. Okay.
No. Go back to where. No. You don't listen.
You admitted it. You literally told me on the video that it started during COVID. You had 5,000 followers. Then you started doing this with her, and then you exploded. How else do you explain the growth?
So why did I post videos of me stunting with my daughter? Why? Like, what is what got me into posting videos with my daughter?
COVID.
What happened during COVID?
We were shut down. We had to stay home.
And so, what was my job at the time?
You said you were a coach.
Cheer coach. I had a daughter. So what did we do? We stunted. We posted videos. But why did I continue posting? I told you the origin, but what made me continue posting stunt videos and showing the progress of my daughter? From start to never throwing a stunt to throwing triple ups and triple downs.
Because growth on the line is addictive, and being famous is addictive, and money is addictive. That's why. I
already have money.
So, people who have money want more money. You saying you don't want more money? People who are smart with money, you invest, they want more. You tell me you're an investor. So I
never said I was an investor.
You said that you take care of people, like you said. There's people, you have clients. I don't know what it was.
But
you work with money,
but
right?
That's what I'm saying. If you don't have the information, you can't make a valid claim.
I don't need any more information except for the fact that you said you grew and exploded after COVID when you used your daughter from a 5,000 follower account. You went to 1 million, now you've 7 million. And you're telling me none of that has to do with your daughter?
Define use, because I never said use.
You film your daughter online.
No, I film stunt videos with my daughter included.
You're playing semantics, man. It doesn't work. Everybody in this chat, even your fans, know that you're playing semantics. The only way you got to this level, the only reason you got to this height is because of your daughter, dude. And if you took her off tomorrow, you could prove me wrong. But you know what's going to happen if you take her off. There's going to be 1 million complaints about where's your daughter, what's going on, this and that and the other thing. You're going to get tons of hate. And you grew that. And why can't you just admit it? Like, if you don't think it's wrong to use your daughter and your content to grow, why are you scared to admit that that's how it grew?
I never said that that's not how I told you that's how my accounts grew. But you're telling me take your daughter out of all your content.
You told me that.
No.
You told me that.
No. I told you that my platform grew because of my videos with my daughter. Objective.
We're on the same page now.
You're saying if I took every single thing down and I would argue that I would have even more leverage. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But you're saying if I took every single thing down, I would no longer have a social media platform. I'm just asking, what are you getting at?
And you keep going to these super extreme lengths and like, oh, if I took this down, then I
extreme to the dark web and pornography with my daughter with AI.
But that's not extreme. That's a reality. Even if it's only, let's say it's only one person doing it, dude. Did you know that there's kids in high school right now in one of your states? I'm from Canada, sorry, but it might be happening here. 2 kids are taking pictures of girls. They're not even famous. Just girls in their high school and putting them through AI porn machines, turning them into porn and spreading it. I'm telling you that there are predators watching your child. You have 1 million subscribers on Instagram. You have over 7 million on TikTok. Do you agree that at least some percentage of those people have ill intent with the content of your daughter?
I would assume.
Okay. And so you admit it out loud that you assume and you know that there are predators watching, and yet you seem to not care that they're there. And you're like, well, that can't stop me, but it should. That's my whole thing is it should stop you. As soon as you know that your daughter could be in danger or being used for nefarious purposes, any dad worth his salt takes every step he needs to make to protect his daughter. Every single one of them. The only people who don't are people who rely on the social media to make the money, and they need it all, and they can't help it.
Do you know how much money, you just...
the money is not.
What?
Money means nothing, man. It's protection of the child.
You just said money. You're saying that do you understand that I can shut down, I can delete all of my social media, no videos of anything, and I will still be very well financially off, even
good. Awesome.
If how's that a factor?
Because I don't think that you're doing it for money, like you said. I think you're doing it for the accolades, for the likes, and the things where because you even admitted that too. You're like, I like what people say, this and that. I like when I post something and I get the comments. No matter what you think, the psychology.
I never said I like that.
To the extent that you get a dopamine hit, I get a dopamine hit. Everybody gets a dopamine hit. You get Oprah. Everybody gets dopamine hits. There is something to be said for being addicted to the fame of the internet. And it looks like, and I know that you're not doing this to hurt your daughter, or that you know that there might be a little bit of danger, but you know that, okay, well, maybe I can handle it. But at the same time, we are all human. We are all susceptible to that. Otherwise, why, unless you tell me the exact reason you do all this and it's just one thing, because I want to see the progress of my daughter, then my argument's going to be every single time you can show the progress of your daughter privately. There's no reason to put your daughter on the internet ever. It will not change one iota of her existence according to you, because you don't need her to make your money. You don't need her to be famous. You don't need her, according to you, all these things, right? So why then, if there are predators and there is some inkling of danger, and you admitted so, why then not just take her off? Because isn't it better to be safe than sorry?
You asked, because people follow me for the relationship and these stunt videos and the relationship family dynamic of my family.
Okay.
That's why I post.
And what do you get out of it?
Community. Okay. Absolute community.
Yeah. And I've heard that a lot, and I agree with you, because I have a community. I love my community too, and I understand that. But the community is, we are getting affirmed. We are getting kudos. We are getting positive comments. We're saying, I love your argument here. I love that you did that with your daughter. That's a great thing you did. I love what you did here. Your coaching abilities are amazing. We do that. See, it's one-sided community. This thing we're not really talking about here is that it's one-sided because it's not two-sided. You don't know.
There's haters and there's supporters.
Of all the 8 million followers you have between your two accounts, how many do you know personally?
A few thousand.
You know a few thousand people personally.
Yes.
You know them, like you call them on the phone.
No, they call me because I run a financial practice to where I meet with my followers for free, the people who support us, and I give them financial guidance and help them reach financial success by helping them write plans. So, and giving them the knowledge. So, as servitude, thank you for supporting us. You can call me at any time. That's why it is thousands, because I take phone calls all day with individuals who follow me. My financial practice is solely built off of my Instagram followers. So I'm sorry, you're just admitting things you probably shouldn't be admitting. So you're saying your business is dependent on your social media with your daughter? No, I have 3 businesses and I leverage them all together. Do you own a business? Yes. So why would it not be smart for me to leverage each business? Oh, it's very smart for you to do it. It's very smart for you to do it. It's just, but you're using, but my argument stands is that you are using your daughter to get you that platform that leverages your businesses, which means that this is on your daughter. Your reality of what you make in the world, the money you make, the beautiful home that you have, everything you have, that's on her shoulders. If that ever goes away for some reason because some predator decides he wants your daughter or whatever, or some dude, some boy comes along when she's older or something happens, like none of that should ever be on your daughter's shoulders. None of it. No, there should never be a responsibility of a parent ever to put financial responsibility on your kids to make you money, ever. Do you understand that I have before? Whenever I had 5,000 followers, really nice, beautiful home, tall ceilings, never made $1 on social media. What do you think happened prior to that? Like, you got to understand, I don't rely on social media for income. I will never rely on social media for income. I mean, you keep telling me that and then you keep saying that you do. But again, I never said I rely on social media for income. Fine. Let's say you don't have to rely on it. That's okay. That's great. Good for you. You make good money. You take care of your family. You protect them and everything else. You make sure they're financially stable. It doesn't negate my point, which is the exploitation of children is always going to be wrong. Why do you think that Illinois passed a law that you can't even, like there are parents like you who don't pay I'm not saying you don't pay your kids, but there are family vloggers, there are people who use their children who don't pay their kids. And I hope you do, but I'm just saying, why are there laws? Ask me if I do or not. Why are laws being passed? What? Why are there laws being passed right now in some of your states that are saying you can't take advantage of kids anymore? Because I'm sure people take advantage of kids, but you're assuming, you're like, I hope you pay your kids. Like what? That wouldn't matter anyway. It wouldn't change my argument. So why do you say you hope? I don't care. What if I told you that I take all the money to live this lavish life and I pay my daughter $0? I wouldn't be surprised because most of them do that. You wouldn't be surprised. Most of them do that based off of what factual. Their own conversations. Their own. I've had people like 8 Passengers, Ruby Frankie say, my kids aren't getting a penny of this. Love Meg says it. There's lots of people who maybe pay their kids, but a lot of them also live these very, very lavish lifestyles. And by the time family vlogging is over, by the time their channels are making 5,000 hits instead of 1 million, they've spent the money. It's gone. There are kids on the internet right now who grew up in family vlogging worlds like you, like very influential families, who come out later and say, I hated this. Like, now, I'm not saying that you're this, because I actually would say that you're not this. But parents who do this are someone different when the camera's on, and they're someone different when the camera's off. Now, I don't believe that you're not. I believe that you're probably exactly who you are on and off camera, which is a good thing. But I'm telling you the reality of this, of what I speak on, which is what you invited me to say, is that no matter what you think, and I know that you don't want your daughter to be hurt. I know that. I know you don't want predators watching her or getting off on images of her. I know you don't want that. But the reality is it happens, and it didn't have to, and doesn't continue to have to. It doesn't. You don't. You're telling me there's no reason for you to do except for the community of it. Okay, and that's great. But then, I always come back to, is it better to be safe than sorry? Right now, if there's ever a case where it could be the thing that I'm saying is right, why would you not err on the side of caution when it comes to your own child? Caution is subjective. Do you force I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. Do you force your kids to wear helmets if they're out riding their scooters? I don't.
And honestly, sorry, I'm going to do a segue here because I had a video on my channel where I flew off a Segway and I went to the hospital and like craziness. And it's because I wasn't wearing a helmet. But yes, obviously safety. And if you're talking about, of course I'd force my kid to be safe, but you're literally doing the opposite by putting it on the internet. You can't be, there's no way you know who's watching, ingesting your content, or taking it for themselves. You have no idea. That's the scariest part of this. At least when you go to a competition, you can see a creepy old dude staring at your daughter and be like, yo, right? You can see that. When it comes to the internet, you can't see that.
But even if it's happening, why would that be my primary focus?
The safety of your children is your primary focus.
That's not the safety of my children. That you tell me focus on the, like you said, the most extreme. That is not my focus. That is something that I'm fully aware of. That is something that I use caution, take caution in. But caution is subjective because I don't care if my kids wear helmets riding their scooter in front of the house. And you're saying that absolutely you will make them wear a helmet. I'm not judging you for that. If you want to judge me for that, that's fine. I have my reasonings. I've been in a motorcycle wreck where I could have died if I didn't have a helmet. I snapped my leg in half. I still have a plate in my leg from not wearing it. But luckily I was wearing a helmet.
Please make your kids wear helmets. I know that's
but that's what you got to understand. If they're riding their scooter right in front of the house, I don't mind if they don't wear a helmet because if they fall, they're going to know to catch themselves. And I've seen them. They fall all the time. You got to learn to fall before you get up. You could be cautious and say, wear a helmet at all times.
I agree. We're getting into the weeds. Like, I'm getting into the weeds.
But no. I'm getting to a point. Just listen. If I cannot see my children, if you're going to go ride down there by the trails, you're going to be strapped up. Take your helmet with you. Take care of your brother. You can go ride over there. But if I cannot see you, if I see you going down a graded incline, put your helmet on, go be safe, take care of your brother. I know a lot of people, like, you got to understand, a lot of people don't like me. They don't like what I do. They don't understand me. They don't know my history. They don't know whatever. And that's fine. But that's not going to change my actions. I'm not going to completely change my action and change who I am just because one person feels a certain way and we differ. That's what makes us human. Just like I told you before you got on, I was like literally, I feel that you and I had a very compelling conversation and we didn't scream, we didn't cuss at each other, but we are, as men, having a subjective conversation to the public. And people are hearing good tidbits from each of us. They're hearing, hey, this is what's happening on the dark web. Some people didn't know that. Some people didn't know that I don't post videos of my daughter's beaver saying that where I take caution, or that I can make her wear pants, loose pants, if we're going out every time we leave gymnastics. So if no one's staring, because I know there are people out there. I control what I can control, but at some point you gotta say, okay, at what point are you going to base all your decisions off the most extreme? Because in that case, no one will let their kids around black individuals because they carry guns and they sell drugs.
Keep going back to that for some reason. It's really weird, but I mean, no, that's not true.
It's not weird. But I want you to understand why I keep going back to that, because you keep going back to that in this instance.
I've never once mentioned race in this conversation at all.
No, but Chick-fil-A. And if people just got here, they won't understand.
Right.
Don't go over there. But what if they're just a black individual and they're just chatting? But you're going to go around just because they're black and you know that there are black people on this world. No, that is not how you should base your actions. And I do.
No, and I've clarified that. I've said it's less like that. It's like, okay, that person could be this thing, right? Or whatever, because you're saying it's stereotypical, whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there is predators. There is provable data for this.
There's provable data that there are.
Would you be so brave as to show me the analytics behind your daughter's Instagram account?
What do you mean?
Like, can you pull the analytics, the age and demographic analytics of your daughter's Instagram account?
Yes, and it would be 24 to 35-year-old female individuals.
All of them?
I can pull up the analytics right now, but what would be where are you getting at? Because it's, let's say if a 300,000 follower account, 5% of that is men over the age of 25. Does that not give you a little bit of pause for caution? If you were a smart individual child predator, why would you have an account as a male?
Exactly. you're right on it. And I talked about this with the Everly thing. The engagement analytics are completely different than your back-end analytics. The ones that I pay for on Social Book, they're the ones that give me the analytics of the actual ones who are watching your daughter or Everly LeBrant's page, right? The analytics are different. The problem is that there are, you and I are on the same page, that there are predators, that there is inherent danger no matter what we do with our children. Like my kids go to school, there's danger at school. Right? My kids go here and there or at the mall, there's danger everywhere. I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying I want you to stop your daughter living her life. What I'm asking for is saying, I guess, or stating is that a good family, a good dad protects their children by keeping them off the internet completely. And I made this mistake at the beginning of my channel. I actually started a family vlog once with my son, and I didn't know that this was as dangerous as it was. The last 3 years have opened my eyes to some things I know you haven't seen my content and I haven't seen your content, but man, I promise you this. The things that I've seen will break your heart. And and I understand too that you're a savvy businessman, you've got pride like I do. We're dads. We understand being called something sucks. But I promise you this, man. In the end, your and your daughter's relationship is gonna be good with or without the internet. So if you drop that, if you protect her more, she's never gonna be upset with you for protecting her more, ever. You're going to say, look, I did this to protect you. My kids, as I get older, they're not going on social media ever. Like, I mean, not until they're like 17, 18, hopefully. And I hope they don't hate me for it. But it's because I want to protect them. Your daughter is going to always see that you did everything to protect her. Always. And this one thing, you're not protecting her. And I know you hate to hear it, but you're not. Sorry.
All right.
So I know we're miles apart, but I actually do want to thank you for having an honest conversation, because nobody that I've ever covered, Roland, has ever been brave enough to do what you just did here today. Nobody, not one effing person has ever done what you've done. And so I want to say I really appreciate you doing this, because you were listening, and then I hope I was listening too. And there's some stuff that you said that I'm going to think about for sure. But I actually want to say thank you very much for doing this. This is like nobody has ever done this.
But do you know why I did it? Because, like you said, no one would typically do this, but do you know why I did it?
I think I wanted to educate you.
Because why would you know why I did it? Because I haven't told you. I did it because I agree with you. Mm-hmm. But you didn't know that I agreed with you, and you didn't know the measures that I take. Albeit, yes, you can go to my daughter's or my page, and you can see you can find something of her in a Leo or a cheer outfit. You can all this information. Protect yourself as well. You're a grown man. You can put yourself out there however you want, but just be careful, because I have a very vindictive nature. And back in the day, if you would have caught me whenever social media was blowing up, I probably would have tried to find out where you live. Okay. And I probably would have done it for a different reason. And I would have had the means to make it up there. Even though it's cold, I could buy a jacket. I could be good. It's just, you got to be aware of that as well. Because if you piss off the wrong person, just like you said about that little girl, shotgun, boom, 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 click, you're out too. Okay. So stay aware. I would just change the approach and try to bring more positive. No, you don't have to do anything. I would recommend try to bring more positivity, because I think a more positive approach would allow for more information to be absorbed and more meaningful conversations to be had. Okay. So have an amazing day. I'm about to run to this meeting. I'm sure we'll do a recap, and I'm going to actually follow you to see how your content goes. And I hope you follow me and to see how I keep finding more and more tweaks. Although I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing, because I'm doing it for a different reason. Just keep looking for the tweaks that I continue to make, and maybe we can do a 1-year recap on how we feel about each other.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good. See you, dude.
4 packets.
Okay, thanks.
Y'all. That was cool. Like, that guy came at me super sideways. And so I was like, hey, let's go live. Let's talk to the public. And he came at me with not really death threats, but he came at me with like very ill intentions and very aggressive. And so I was just like, hey, if you want to talk, let's talk to the public. Like, you doing this behind the screen stuff. But the thing is, he has a very good message. Like, child exploitation is real. But having that said, if you choose to have that stop, like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I understand that there are creepos out there. But the followers who support us I'm not going to stop posting online just because of that. I'm going to be aware and make sure that my content is tailored. But he's telling me shut down my entire account. And he also told me that if I shut down all of my accounts, I would be not successful in life, in a sense. You know what I mean? And he had no ill intentions. He's just passionate about his message. He's very passionate about his message. And there's nothing wrong with that. But y'all, just as he said, be aware of, and oh, by the way, I'm not about to, y'all, my manager shot me a text and she said, this live is stressing me out because I told him that, like, my manager knows that I'm crazy and like, he knows that I have a lot of free time to do whatever I want. But Haley, I'm going to find out where he lives, but I'm going to send him a nice gift. I'm not about to just find him, but he's like, oh, anybody can find, like, hey, I can find you. Did you know that you talking mess to people? Like, what if you talk mess to the wrong person? You know he can find out where you are and bang, bang, bang. You know, I'm not going to do that, but you got to, you know, consider all things, okay? Reporting this live and this guy. Y'all, let me read some comments. Let's chat. It should stress out your manager. You're going to lose followers. Y'all, I don't care if I lose followers. Like, my life isn't dependent on how many followers I have. You know what I mean? People can find you too. Y'all, you can find me. I can tell you my address, but are you actually going to pull up? You know what I mean? Think about that. Dak Prescott lives 3 miles away. Everyone knows where Dak Prescott lives. He lives right there. He has a football field that has faith on the back of it. Everyone knows, he knows where. But then again, in this area, we have security. We have patrol. You know, there's a layer of security, okay? But yes, you can figure out where anyone lives. But what else are you saying? You did awesome. Then delete your account. Y'all, look at this Carol Lee person. Y'all, I would love to go live with this Carol Lee person because she was like, she said, then delete your account. Why would I delete my account? Why would I delete my account? What was Josh on for? Josh was on because he sent me a hate message and he called me a loser. And then he said some other really bad stuff in a comment. And then I said, hey, let's go live and just say what you need to say to my face, because people are keyboard warriors, but they don't understand that I'm like a really calm person and I don't care if you don't like me, but I want you to actually get to know me before saying those things. And by the end of the conversation, we realized, like, hey, we don't see eye to eye, but at least we know more about each other. I respect his message. He respects me now. Like, we don't dislike each other. But I'm telling him, don't come at me sideways first. I have a lot of people doing hate just like that Carol Lee person. But don't come at me sideways if you don't know who I am or why I do what I do, or even the background, okay? Roland, ignore them. You're a great father, person, leader. Thank you, but realize I don't do it to... If people knew that, people telling me I don't do this to be seen as a good father. I don't care what y'all think. That's why I post my content in the style that I do. I don't seek that acknowledgement. You're a great father. You're an amazing father. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? I care about, am I doing my job behind the scenes? I care about my life outside of social media, but people don't see that lifestyle. They only see what I want them to see. And my manager knows the way I do my content, I'm very, very, very meticulous and very strategic because I want to add a little controversy, okay? Because as long as I have all the information, I have all the leverage. So whenever you come at me and I give you that information, just like Josh got, it's like, okay, maybe I have the wrong impression of that person. You know what I mean? Seek first to understand, then to be understood. What else? You don't care about your kids. Okay. I don't care about my kids. All right, what else? Then remove your daughter if it doesn't matter if she's there or not. DTP has 3 police reports against him in Canada because of his stalking. Whoa! Wait, what? For real? So you truly don't care if predators using your daughter's face for deep fakes? I don't know. Stop talking. You're continually embarrassing. You're sexually exploiting your daughter, and don't give a... I'm not going to cuss on my page, by the way. People like this guy will only listen when something horrific happens to their family. You should probably get to your meeting. Y'all, they're not popping in the meeting. They're running late. Leave it up to Texas. What a shame. You're deflected. I understand both sides, but when it comes down to it, I would worry. DCP is not a stalker. I love you more now than before, and admit it. You don't give a fuck. No, he doesn't. I would do some research before you spread information. Yes, he looks crazy, the Canada guy. Y'all don't call him crazy. Like, that's where you got to understand, even though he doesn't like me or whatever, don't call him crazy. He's just very passionate about a very important topic. It's just, if I were to hop on 2 buses, I wouldn't be on your bus. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't believe that he's wrong. I don't believe that he like what he's saying is bad, because it's just information. It's just he's passionate about it. Don't call him crazy because he thinks that way. That's like calling me crazy because I think this way, the way I do. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Don't disrespect people. Even if someone comes on my page yelling at me, cussing me out, whatever, which he didn't really do, don't disrespect them just because they do that. You know what I mean? That's like just as bad. Yeah. I've never heard about you before, and for sure won't come back to your page. A lot of people won't. A lot of people will. Where is Jaden? You don't know. We are calling you crazy. I hope you think I'm crazy. Let me see. The message is important, but you are choosing to ignore it. He is backed by nothing but facts. Yo, grandma, what are we talking about? Y'all, if you just got here, you missed the craziest thing ever, by the way. He's getting dizzy spinning and everything in circles. Let me see if that Kara Lee, I would love to go live with that Kara Lee person real quick. Ooh, Haley, Haley, my manager's asking if we can end it. And no, Haley, I want to keep this going real quick. Just real quick. I followed you because of DCP. I cannot wait until the proper laws are passed. The one black girl, ooh, will you please explain the purpose of this live? Y'all, you missed the whole live. I have it recorded. Rambling and making no sense. You were threatening him. No, I didn't threaten him. Why are you guys trying to control how he raises his kids? Like, boom, 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 because he understands. Okay, one person is like rational. And I'm not saying you're rational because you said something that I agree with. It's just actually backed by factual evidence that I care about my kids. You know what I mean? His manager gonna drop him. Yo, grandma. Oh my gosh, bro, stop doing it. He's not doing anything. If you don't like him, then don't watch it. He doesn't have any meeting. Red flag. Y'all, look how dumb people are. Like, I'm sitting here waiting until a lady can get to her computer. It's 1:33. We're 3 minutes late for our meeting. Like, but someone said I don't have a meeting. Think about that, y'all. You look like you wake up and make a bowl of toast. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Roland, weren't you supposed to be having a meeting? Yes, I'm still waiting. This is my Zoom room, waiting for the lady to come in. I would love for people to have an actual face-to-face conversation. A lot of you would just be quiet. I just had a face-to-face conversation. I hope you think about everything that Josh invested in you. Just be more mindful of people. That's all. Oh, that's literally it. Y'all, look at this comment. Just be a little more mindful of your posts. That's all. That is essentially his message wasn't that. He was like, don't do it at all. But that's why I brought him on. Be mindful of your posts and what you put out there. You know what I mean? But I brought him on to let him know that I am mindful. And although it's not to the extent that you are or that you think I should be, I am mindful, okay? Don't send anything to him and his family. Just think about what you're posting your child would do, blah, blah, blah. Tell us how he threatened you. I'm just curious. Y'all, he didn't threaten me. Dimitri Thompson. What's his name again? I'm not telling you that. I already know you're about to go send him a message. All hate people, please stop exploiting your daughter. She will, on social media as a kid, I wouldn't have understood it then, but as an adult, I'll be very, excuse me, just want your child cannot give informed information. There's some people say so. Yes, please be mindful. I work for prosecutors. Y'all, one of my clients is a private investigator. Keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. What does she do? Oh, y'all. Crazy thing. So what blew his mind was the fact that he was like, you do finance, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yes, but I showed him how to run my financial practice. But I have a client who's in the FBI and have a client who's a private investigator, okay? It's wild. You said he threatened you. Another threat. This isn't protecting your kids. Everyone has a private investigator. No, they don't. Not everyone has a private investigator. Now you're mad because he called you out. Don't be creepy, mate. You should stop talking about your clients threatening people and threatening people online. Roland, if you weren't as popular as you are, no one would care about you posting your daughter. Bottom line. That's deep. Not sure what you mean by that, but I took it in a different way. You use your followers to get from your daughter online to grow business. Yes, why not? Are you a financial advisor? Yes. You look like you play with Barbour. Can you recognize that most family bloggers overshare their kids' lives? You put the word most. Most is subjective, but then again, I'm not a family blogger and I don't watch family blogs like that, so I don't know. I don't consume that type of content. You know what I mean? Is there a reason you keep going over my question? Lady, Jim, do you see these comments going? If I don't see your question, just post it again. That is literally, give me 5 minutes. All right, y'all, this lady said, give me 5 minutes. I'm about to hop off here. What blew his mind? Oh, yeah. What blew his mind was your calmness. Yeah, yo, I think at one point he got uncomfortable because I was too calm, but I was letting him know that I was listening. You know what I mean? But he told me that he wasn't used to that. He was like, no one has ever done this. I'm like, okay, well, this is just what a conversation is like with a normal human. Oh no, he's picking which one he wants to answer. Y'all, I'm just literally looking at these comments. We're not doing anything wrong, just hanging out and talking. I know. No one will ever love him as much as he loves himself. My dog. Y'all, do you know how much my dog loves me? Does the mom approve of the videos before uploaded? Y'all, my wife will tell me to take a post down if she doesn't like it. You got to think that she has 2 parents. Let's see. I generally want to know, because I watch your content, if you were to take your daughter off your channel, would you be successful still, and how? That's a great question, y'all. And if I answered that, someone would say that I'm arrogant because I'm going to be like, yo, I've always been successful because I know. Actually, you want me to? Yo, enough of that. Let's switch this to positivity. Haley, I'm not hopping off just yet, but let me read. So I journal a lot and write down all of my just thoughts. How do you define success / the different stages? And one thing that I put, stage number 1, inception. Success cannot be achieved without action. And every journey has a point of inception. Inception represents a period of time when physical and measurable and intentional stride has been taken to kickstart a journey of potential uncertainty. Okay? So due to that statement alone, I will always be successful regardless of whatever life throws, because I'm not afraid to go on that journey knowing that there's uncertainty. People don't go on journeys. I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. I'm not afraid to go on a journey and build a business. And if something happens to where life crumbles, I know how to rebuild. But then again, my foundation is so secure to where if we have, just like in COVID, how did I try to break that down to him? He didn't understand. Before, he's like, how did you blow up? Whatever. I was like, okay, COVID. We weren't working. We were financially stable. We had a big house, high ceilings. We threw. I gotta go. Yo, I gotta hop on this meeting. Bye, 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 bye.